Okay, so we'll see how it goes, okay? And if I need to pull out more cards, I'll do that. So the overall energy here is the Two of Pentacles. This is basically juggling two options, juggling multiple things, okay? Or being in a state of emotional flux, so like emotional ups and down, and dealing with somebody who might have been like just emotionally unbalanced, okay? So I feel like this is a situation you were contending with where you didn't have that sense of security, that firm footing in a relationship. So I feel like right now a lot of you might have shifted between, from one relationship, ended something, and then starting over. And I feel like it might have been a really long-standing relationship where it served as your foundation. So it seems almost as if you have to begin from scratch and to rebuild your foundation. And I feel like for some of you, you might be in a situation where you're dating people and you have some options coming through and you're trying to hedge your bets. You're trying to gauge, potential for each individual options. So I feel like the time that you are devoting to relationships, you're going to have to cut back a little bit and you're going to have to learn like better time management when it comes to finding that work life and that personal life balance, okay? And also personal space as well as like partnership space. Finding that balance is going to be really important for you. I feel that a lot of you are, we have in the challenge position, we have here the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands indicates a very, very nurturing, very mother-like energy. It's, you could be potentially dealing with someone with children. You yourself could be dealing with children. And I feel like that is becoming a little bit of an obstacle, hindering your ability to date and your ability to fully invest in situations, okay? So there might be a lot of responsibilities overall as a couple, as a unit, or even as a single parent, or even as a single person dealing with liking somebody who might have children. So I definitely feel like some type of a situation where you're trying to navigate the water, okay? I also feel in the challenge position, this is like this is a very, very flirtatious person is what I'm feeling. They're very caring, very loving, and they do give their power away a lot. Okay, they're like overly caring, overly mothering, overly nurturing. So just be mindful about this energy if you see it exhibiting or it coming from you, where you feel like you're like overly protective of another person, and they might say like, hey, I need a lot more space. You're not giving me enough space. I feel like once you get yourself emotionally invested in another person, you start to see them as an extension of yourself. And especially like if you care about them, you start to overstep your boundaries and you start to like treat them, like they need protection. So just be very careful about respecting somebody else's freedom of choice and not to overstep their boundaries, okay? Like you want to help, yes, but unless they ask for it, then try to hold back a little bit. Or you can ask them, hey, if you need help, I'm willing to help you out. But I feel like you need to really clearly maintain these boundaries, okay? This is also a card about passion and excitement. And, I feel like putting in the effort in order to build and to foster a new relationship. This little plant here is something that is emerging. It's new. It's delicate. And I feel like a lot of you are trying to find time to do this with a new relationship, okay? So the first two things here, they mirror one another. We do have the World card, and the World card basically indicates a situation where we have like kind of sequestered ourselves into our little cocoon. And I feel like it might be with a lot of you might have recently left like an old relationship. You've sailed on from troubled water. You're trying to like find yourself, and you're trying to like look at other options that are available to you. And a lot of you might have been really, really busy on the work front, and you're not giving yourself that freedom of movement to flow and to really move out and about. And I do feel that this is the month in which you're breaking out from your shell. You're moving past old energy. You're sailing past it and you're overcoming it, and you're going to be able to break out of your shell, okay? What came in the past here is we have the Nine of Cups as well as the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups in the reverse position is looking back at a past relationship, a past person that is trying to reemerge in our lives and seeing it for what it is, okay? This is like the whole, no longer being naive. No longer seeing somebody and putting somebody on a pedestal, and especially no longer falling for false promises. So looking at a situation from the past and not seeing all the good and ignoring the bad. It's seeing that the past relationship, it was actually a lot more painful and a lot more problematic than we would like to believe. So I feel like a lot of you have, sequestered yourself. And I feel like you came into the point where you are able to process your feelings. You're able to process past events. And you are coming to the conclusion that, hey, it actually wasn't even all that great. And it usually denotes to me a blast from the past that might have been problematic, that might have been a very negative experience. And I feel like you're going to get some type of communication from that. And I feel a lot of you are just not going to respond. You're just going to give them the silent treatment and you're just going to move on with your life, okay? Because we have here the Nine of Cups showing up in the reverse, which basically means that the do-over is not going to happen. You're not going to get a second chance, and you're not going to be able to fix this situation because realistically, it's no longer meant on your path. It was like, it could have even been a soulmate connection that was in your life for a very, very brief snippet of time. There were important, valuable information and lessons to be learned from that, but they're not meant for you forever, okay? So I feel like a lot of you are coming to the realization that, yes, that's the case, and yes, you're moving on. The other two things that are coming through, you've got two wish cards, both in the reverse, and all of this is happening in the past. So I feel like a lot of you have let stuff go. So I'm really happy. We have the star as well, which is the star indicates our life path, our purpose, our higher calling. When the star is in the reverse position, it basically means that somebody is not walking on the same path with us. Somebody is not wanting the same things. They don't want to build. And, it's a card about vision and healing as well. So I feel like there's still some pain, residual healing that needs to take place from the past, but you are realizing that, you're sailing past it. And I do feel that, sometime this month, especially in the middle of the month, you're going to be in a really good space emotionally, okay? If you're not even there yet, I feel like a lot of you have turned over a new leaf starting the beginning of the month or even the end of August. That hasn't happened yet, when you get the communication from that person from the past, it's going to trigger, those dormant feelings. And then you're going to be like, oh, I knew it. And you're going to move on. Okay. So there's no looking back here. This is like pretty much the end of an era. So I feel like you're starting to realize that, the relationship was very restricted. It also lacked passion, and it also lacked like a common purpose. It's mirrored with the Four of Cups, which is a card about releasing something, okay? Releasing something, letting things go. And I feel like there is a situation that you devoted a lot of energy in. It didn't bring you any type of reward, and you're moving on. And I feel like you're actually really happy to be able to move on from this, because we have the Two Wish card in the reverse position, and we have you shifting, moving on out, like physically removing yourself from an environment that was no longer growth inducing, okay? What I'm also sensing is I feel honestly for some of you, you were in a very, very restrictive relationship. So someone kind of like took you away from all your friends, from your support system, from your network. And now you have left that behind, and you're coming through, and you are trying to like widen your social circle, or to reconnect with people again in your support system. I feel there's an element here of potentially you have two options, like in terms of romantic partners and things like that. And I feel like there might be a family, like mothers especially, has a huge influence into who you choose to be your romantic partner. So that can be good or bad. You might have like a mom who's very, very domineering, very, very controlling, and you might get into a relationship with someone who is controlling. It was a comfortable relationship because, it triggered that sense of security, but it was innately very controlling. So I feel like that's what's happening here. Okay. So the first thing that I'm sensing here is this, okay? They're basically telling you in terms of spiritual advice, not to make a move, not to decide on anything for this month. So once again, we have the Four of Cups coming in, meaning you have a lot of options on the table as to, you know, do I go with this person, that person, etc. If you are in a committed relationship, it's more like, you know, do we do this? Do we do that as a couple? And I do feel that it's telling you to basically take some more time for reflection, for introspection, because all the information is not there just yet, okay? And I also feel like if you're dealing with like possibly severing ties, deciding, you know, like we're no longer in a happy committed relationship, should we move on or should we like come back together? You know, like if you're like in a struggling, straggling relationship, it's basically telling you not to make a move just yet. I feel like you might want to break things off with another person, but they're telling you not to do anything just yet because the energy is not supportive for new things. Mercury in retrograde, it starts on August 30th and it's going to continue until September 22nd. So don't make a move. Wait until after that time period, okay? So if you are involved with an air sign, with this Four of Swords here, it's saying not to make a move. This is somebody that is sincere. They've got their heart out and they're ready for that offer. They're waiting on you. You have options. You have like multiple options that are currently in your environment, and you're trying to decide, okay? And I feel like a lot of you are still longing for something out there that these options are not meeting just yet. So like all of your criteria are not being currently met in any of these options. So you're still trying to decide. You're still trying to figure out what to do. But I do sense that they're telling you to wait until the last week of the month, okay? If you are dealing with a fire sign, we have fire sign here, which is somebody who might be a little bit jealous and controlling, okay? They're very passionate, but generally a little bit jealous, a little bit controlling. We have a fire sign, Sagittarius, Aries, and Leo. And they're showing up in the reverse position. This might be somebody that you have children with, once again. This might be like somebody that you're dealing with where they're kind of like a little bit unreliable. They're here today, gone tomorrow. There is some type of a conflict coming through between you and this person. There might be a little bit of a stalemate because it's linked up here with the Seven of Swords, which is about sneaking around, sneaky behavior, trying to decide, you know, like knowing that there's something that is going on behind the scenes, but not having all the information just yet. So I feel this is an energy that is coming through for some of you, and you're trying to reassess the situation. You might be in a position where, you know, you might want to break things off, but you feel like you should give this person the benefit of the doubt. Others of you are seriously just deciding, you know, I really want to play the field, and I feel like that's what I really want to do, and that's what I'm going to do. But I have this one relationship partner or this one person that is really, really into me, so I don't know how to break it to them gently. Or you might be in a position where you're just like, you know, trying to do both, trying to manage both, like have one person on the side that you know really cares about you, because I feel like you've got somebody who really cares about you here, okay? They wear their heart on their sleeves, and I feel like they do want to build a future with you. They're waiting on you. They're waiting on a decision from you. And I feel like you might at this point be thinking about, do I want a relationship or do I want to play the field? And there's nothing wrong with either of those options. You know, it is what it is. But I feel like if you are, you might want to be honest, because we do have Mercury retrograde. It's not a good time to rock the boat. It's not a good time to test and see what we can get away with. Okay, so be careful. So that's what I feel coming through. And I do sense like this energy is very pervasive throughout the rest of this month, but they're telling you not to make a decision until the end of the month, okay? Be upfront and be honest. And I do feel that someone from the past, you know, you've been in a deep-rooted relationship, and I feel like it left a bitter taste in your mouth. And right now you might be in a state where you do believe in love and you want that great grand love, but you're a little bit jaded. That's what I feel like emotionally and relationship wise. You might be a little bit jaded, okay? And a lot of you are thinking about your financial situation right now, where you want to be, and you want to provide that good life for your romantic partner. So I feel like there are some type of financial considerations creating interference in a relationship, especially for those of you who are coupled, okay? And I feel like children from your end, from their end, or, you know, mutually from both ends that are also being brought into the mix, okay? So, Pisces, I hope the reading has been helpful. So I'm going to try to see about this spread. It might change next month, but I'm just going to do a few signs and see how I resonate with it. I like it so far.